born in Paramount, California, right, where it's between Compton and Long Beach. Me and my families were some of the minorities in town. I went from there to Pella, Iowa, small town in Iowa, 10,000 people, everyone's white. Then I went to Creighton, played Division I basketball back in diversity. Then I go to the NBA. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm the only white guy on the team my rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Feeling that.
Yeah.
Then I go to Salt Lake, right? Salt Lake City, play for the Jazz, and great city, but it's a white NBA city, right? I go from there to Chicago and Atlanta to Cleveland with you, back to Salt Lake, and now I'm in Milwaukee, which some say is the most segregated city in America. I say all this to say I have a unique story in this,
Yeah.
right?
You do.
I just being like in the minority, then the majority, the minority, then the majority. So I say that to say, back when after Trayvon Martin was killed and Black Lives Matter happened, I'd always assumed up until this point that I kind of understood some, right?
Yes.
Because I've been in diversity, I've had all these stories. But when Black Lives Matter first came onto the scene, and I saw teammates and I saw my friends, like my black teammates, my black friends, crushed and the pain and the frustration in their eyes, I realized in that moment, you know what? I don't understand what I think I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I was brought up by amazing parents, right? In a Christian home, we're taught that everyone is equal, we treat everyone the same, all these great things, right? But I think in that moment, I was like, how have I missed so badly?
Mm-hmm.
How have I have a story. I have black friends. I have lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
How do I have no eyes for this right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that moment right there kind of put me on a path of like, you know what? If I want to be a better friend, a better teammate, a better citizen, I need to start educating myself. I need to start doing my own work. And so that's kind of my story. So thank you for saying that, I've been a part of some things, but the reality is as a white man, I don't know, right? I have so much to learn and understand, and we all have a journey in this.
Well, the thing that I've said this, obviously, I've gotten phone calls from friends and like, what can you do, Richard? What can I do? How can I support? Correct me if I'm wrong. You have 3 boys or 4 boys? 3
I
boys?
have a daughter and 2 boys.
3 kids. Like I said, 3 kids. And one of the things that I was always very, very passionate about is that teach your kids now. Like, especially as a white man with 2 white boys and a white daughter, it's like the sooner you teach them, the sooner you educate them about the true history of this country, why people are so upset, the sooner you have that dialogue. Like, again, I like playing against you for so many years, being your teammate for so many years, watching you do and have impacts. It's always, I've always watched from afar. But when people ask me about what to do, it's like, yo, help the next generation, right? Help the next generation. I have a very good friend that has 3 boys, 3 young white boys. And it's like, the sooner we can start as individuals teaching, because black people, we have to teach our kids how to handle the police, how to handle authority. These are the things. Like me and one of my, friends, we were in a store, and his son goes to grab a water gun. My son goes to grab, I'm like, little Richard, we don't play with guns. We don't play with water guns, right? And one of my other friends was like, man, I don't even realize that. Like that, the fact that you are just automatically trained to just kind of check your kids about what you do and what you don't do, especially living in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa. And so the message I've always told people is like, the sooner adults start teaching the next generation what's right, what's wrong, what's about equality, why this certain group might feel disenfranchised or might be upset and angry, the sooner we can start getting to a better spot. And I believe we're in a better spot than we were 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago, but I still believe we have a long way to go.
We do. And I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of us, we want this big change to happen right now, and I hope it's possible. It does feel like this really unique moment right now. From what I hear and what I'm seeing is it does feel like there's more people engaged right now than ever before, especially in like there's more diversity engaged right now, which is great, and I hope that keeps happening. But going back to your point, like real change starts small, right? We need to change systems, we need to change laws, we need to change the culture, right, that we're living in right now. But real change happens with you first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think I can't teach my kids things that I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so change starts with me. It starts with me like uncovering the blind spots more. I have so many more, right? Even these last few weeks, like I felt like I've been trying to read and to learn these past bunch of years, and then these last few weeks happen, and I'm just like, whoa, I know, like I understand this much. It's been so humbling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But change does start small, and I think it starts with yourself, and then it does start with your children. And
Yeah.
these are hard things to talk about them with, but we have to, like we
Yeah.
have to do this, um and then from there, I think, hopefully real change does happen.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's like I just my friend, I told him, I was like, look, the same hard conversation you have to have with your kids about sex, about drugs, about alcohol, about how to treat a female, or how to, go into the workplace, or how you teach them respect, teaching them about, racism and equality. It's an uncomfortable conversation that you don't know
Yeah.
all the answers. You don't know all the answers when you start talking to your kids about drugs and alcohol, but you try and equip them. You try and make sure that they understand what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, stuff like that. And so, yeah, it is a hard conversation, and that makes me want to transition into this. One of the reasons why people have always asked me, do you think the player should play? Do you think the player should not play? And I'm like, well, one, I'm no longer a player. So I have to take a step back there, right? Even though I just retired 2 years ago, I'm not a part of that fraternity. I feel like I understand the pulse. But also I work for a company, ESPN, that I feel benefits, from players getting back out there and playing, and helps generate income for the economy and for the company. So that's why I've been just supportive from afar, of like, hey, you guys, if you guys want to play, okay, cool, I'll support you. If you guys don't want to play, cool, I'll support the movement and what the group decides. Have you had, I know you've been a part of these phone calls and these conversations. What has been your feeling, your pulse kind of on the situation, and what do you feel that you guys should do as a player?
Yeah, it's a good question. First, I think that everyone who's engaging in this conversation right now, whatever stance you may have, wants significant and real change to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's been a lot of criticism towards different groups of what's right and what's wrong, and I think first we just acknowledge that there's just like change needs to happen, and so whatever we choose to do, like there needs to be a plan, and we need to be unified, and we need to go for it, right? I think going back to what you were saying, um, as a white man, right, as a white athlete, like what I if my black teammates and friends and brothers feel like the best way to go about real change is to not play, I stand with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that, right? If we think that is the best way for change, I care more about change happening than a championship, right? On the other side, I am on a team that feels like we could win, and I
Mm-hmm.
have never won,
Yeah,
and
I know.
I would like to win. So
Yeah.
is there a way to do both? I think there's a conversation there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, kind of go back to your saying, like I'm gonna follow the lead of my black brothers and teammates on this, and I stand with them, and whatever they want to do, that's what I want to do. I want change to happen, right? And I want to be a part of that in whatever role that I can. Um, but I am also waiting for the NBA to. I think there's an opportunity in Orlando for us to be like, hey, how can we highlight change, right?
Yeah.
NFL's come out with $250 million, the kind of their pledge of how they're going to be about change. Like, what's the NBA going to do? Like, I
Yes.
happen to believe that the NBA is the best league,
By
right? And
far.
I,
By
by far,
far.
I'm so hopeful for what they're going to come out with, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we got creative minds, we got smart people, we got people with
Adams.
good hearts.
Yeah.
Adam Silver is the best, and we also have the most diverse leadership group,
Mm.
and so I think there's more voices that will speak into this space than the other leagues. And so, I mean, I guess before I say anything on that, I will say that I stand with my teammates, with whatever they choose. But also, I'm really curious to what the NBA does come out with, and I'm sure they're going to in the next few days, about how can we take advantage of this time in Orlando, play good basketball, and be about change.
Yeah, no, that's so well said, and I know that your voice, especially as a very recognizable player, a veteran player, goes a long way. Because again, Dwight Howard said. He was like, I don't think we should play. And I want to win my first championship. And I'm on a team that has an opportunity to win a championship. And that's a real big moment, right? Because there have been people that have been like, well, Kyrie's not going to play, or Kyrie's team doesn't have a chance to win. And then you have two individuals like, Dwight Howard that's saying, I don't feel like we should play, and I have a chance to win my first championship. We played in the finals together, and you're like, and I would love for you to win one, big guy. I would love for you. I truly, truly am rooting for you. And so it's like, you're like, hey, look, whatever my brothers want to do, even if that costs me in my, what are you, 17th year? 17th year? Yeah. And you're like, even if that costs me, an opportunity to win a championship in my 17th year, I stand by them. I stand by them and I stand with them. And so, that's that. I respect that. Is there going to be some sort of vote? Like, I'm on the outside right now, and it's like, there's a lot of times where there's different opinions and different perspective, but ultimately there has to be a vote. There has to be some sort of like, hey, what are we all going to do? We can't bicker back and forth. We can't bicker in the media. It can't be Stephen A versus Steven Jackson versus Kyrie. Like, no, it's like, we all respect each other. We have different perspectives of how things might be able to go about. But is there going to be a vote? Is it, and players can stay home if they choose not to? Have you heard anything on the inside?
I have not. I'm sure these conversations are happening. Again, I think, from every single stamp, like every single person that you just mentioned, from Adam Silver to Kyrie to Steven Jackson to me to whoever, like, we all know that creating change is the most important thing, right? How do we go about this? That is the question. And so I don't want to get twisted in like going at each other,
No, yeah. People
we're
arguing
missing
about
the
the
bigger
right way.
picture, right? And so, yeah, I mean, how do you create a forum during this pandemic? I guess, how many people can you fit on a Zoom call? Probably a
Right.
lot. But
Oh,
um, I feel like Adam's going to lead this well. I do think that if they can come out with a plan that players can get behind, and they can see the opportunities to use their voices and to use our platforms, I think people will get behind that. But again, like I said, I don't feel like personally, if I got a vote, I probably wouldn't use it,
yeah.
right? Like I'm gonna stand with my brothers and do whatever they decide is best.
So people have asked me, because you've written articles, you wrote the Players Tribune article, which was so eloquent. And even then, people are like, no, is Kyle Korver really? And I was like, yes, Kyle Korver is that guy. He is that guy. And so